Yo, happy day, happy day. I'm trying to make it a happy day, and I hope you do too. It's your bro True Jew here with another story that's very sad indeed. We seem to have another PsyOp operation. Well, another PsyOp that's taking place in the small town of Uvalde, Texas, about 80 miles outside of San Antonio, Texas. Okay, let's get straight to it because it's clear to me that there is an agenda against the citizens of this country, and it's an agenda that's multifaceted. The first leg of this agenda has to deal with open carry states, states where firearms are made easily accessible to individuals to protect themselves against threats just like these. But every time we see a threat like this, it takes place in an area or a zone where the individuals affected or allegedly affected have not been able to protect themselves in the manner that the state regulates that protection to be made possible. Okay, so we seem to have another shooter here that went into a school or onto school grounds at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, about 535 students, ages 7 to 9 years old. Okay, so it's type of a transitionary school, elementary school. Now, what's interesting about this is there's multiple reports out on this particular situation. One report says that 15 people, two of which were killed, 15 people were harmed, two of which were killed, and 13 children have been treated for various injuries. In another report, the most latest report, the governor of the mayor of Uvalde has stated that 15 people altogether have died, and that's also including 15 people and then the shooter have died. Well, in earlier reports, they said that the shooter was apprehended. So which one is it? Then we get a aspect to the story where the shooter, 18 years old, again, y'all, has allegedly also killed his grandmother before driving and entering onto the school grounds to do this heinous crime. Now, why do I call this a psyop? Once again, we have a young man who allegedly, at 18 years old, allegedly felt some kind of way and went into an area where innocent lives were and began trying to or taking these lives out. Now, we don't know if this young man had a manifesto. We don't know if he had something that he believed in deeply at this time because it hasn't been released with the news reports. But why I see this as a psyop is once again, we have to look at the moon phase, all right? You're going to notice that when these shootings happen, there's a particular moon phase that's going on. Right now, the moon is currently in Pisces at 23 days old for this month. Okay, now the moon in Pisces has the greatest sensitivity and perceptiveness of surroundings, which I find very interesting because where was the perceptivity of the surroundings that all should have had before the shooter stepped onto the campus? Okay, also, there's feelings of insecurity which can be experienced. And you may have feelings of passiveness or waiting to see what will happen because of that passiveness in your life. So, for instance, if you're not really sure about a decision to make, you kind of just wait to see how the cookie crumbles at this time. Another thing that's interesting about that passivity is that the perception level is supposed to be increased. Okay, so the organs affected during this moon phase are the feet, the toes, the hypophysis, also known as the pituitary gland, okay, the pineal gland, endorphins, melatonin. Now, what are endorphins? Quick science, quick biology lesson. Endorphins are those opiate reactors that are within our mind, those feel good reactors that, after you take a long run or you work out and you feel good, your body feels charged. Well, it's due to those endorphins or those opiate reactors inside the brain. Okay, then when you talk about the pituitary gland regulates stress response. It regulates growth, lactose reproduction. It also regulates insight and harmony. Now, the pituitary gland works in conjunction with the pineal gland. The pineal gland is that light and dark inhibitor. It's the third eye that's in the center of the brain, center of the mind, and it is what actually regulates light response in the brain, controlling your responses to want to sleep and want to wake up every day. Okay, it also has to deal with your high level of consciousness. So as you receive deeper insight through your pituitary gland, It is your pineal gland which processes that insight and gives you that third eye awakening. Okay, now all of this is important because what we're seeing right now is an opportunity to really analyze these situations from that third eye perspective, meaning we're reading in between the lines and not just accepting what the media is telling us. As you see, if you look at this report from the start to the finish so far, there are many different variants of this report. So, what is the truth? The truth stands alone. When you see many different reports on anything, many versions of a story, that means there are some lies being told. And we must look at these lies from a very proactive standpoint so that we don't, one, be controlled by the fear that's produced from these lies, and two, we are able to keep our stress levels down and our stress responses down so we could actually make sense of what's happening. So, why is this a PsyOp? Well, at this time, if you engage in creative or spiritual research, for instance, this is the time when you'll benefit greatest from your imagination. That's what this moon phase in Pisces is all about. As we look at this from a PsyOp perspective, one thing that stands out to me is that open state gun laws are being attacked right now at a high rate. This country is trying to de-arm its citizens in a very strategic way. Okay. Now, these young men who are going in and they're killing individuals, uh, they have situations more than likely where they have been brought in. Once again, I touched on this in a previous video as Manchurian candidates or as those who are active, programmed killers. Okay, now this is very serious because these are individuals who, in any other circumstance, would not have been trained uh, through traditional training programs like the military, the Army, the Marine Corps, the Navy. These are people who would be eligible for those branches of military, but they are not making it into the military before these killings are taking place. These are, in any other circumstance, normal people who for some reason have gone off their rocker, for some reason have lost their cool and have begun killing people at a high rate, allegedly. Now, this also looks like one of those situations where, because many people weren't made privy to this incident before it happened, this could be a false flag situation. We don't know all the instances to this, and my heart goes out to all of the families who were allegedly affected by this. But we'll still have to wait for names. We'll have to wait for true, finalized reports on this situation before we can actually make a final deduction of what's happening. But what's being presented to us is that this is definitely a psyop, and there's definitely some nefarious intent from the media perspective mixed in with this alleged shooter. Look, y'all, where we are right now in this country is very serious. We are seeing destabilization methods taken from economics, from the food, from even the weather, through HARP and all of these different means to control weather right now. Now, the farming industry is allegedly suffering right now. The trucking industry is suffering right now. The shipping industry from actual boats is suffering right now, all due to a so-called pandemic. What we are seeing right now is the perfect storm being brewed up for all of the higher shadow government control to come in and take charge of what's really going on from an open perspective. Right now, the shadow government is still working under wraps. Many people aren't awakened to what's going on right now, but I see it clear as day. Okay, so what we have to do is prepare ourselves, arm ourselves, and do exactly the opposite of what we see happening right now as far as shortages are concerned. So if there are shortages, supposed shortages, change your thinking. Begin to buy seeds, purchase seeds, begin to purchase pots and soil to seed those seeds, and begin to grow your own food. Arm yourselves, okay? This is very important, even if it's just with a pistol. Arm yourselves and get the proper ammunition, get the proper oils and things to keep those pistols in functioning manner. Begin to take care of your family, and most importantly, through taking care of your family, increase your spiritual acumen. I'm not here to tell you who to believe in or what to believe in, but you must increase your spiritual acumen. I'm going to be touching on this in a video, Most High Mama and Papa willing, very soon, but I want to stay on track with the shooter and this PsyOp operation that took place down in Texas. Listen, y'all, there's definitely some nefarious intent going on. Stay prayed up. Keep your focus about you and don't let these things stress you out to the point where you lose your cool and you lose what you have to do to take care of yourself and your family. This your bruh True Jew signing in again, tapping in again. Most High Mama and Papa willing, I'll be here to report another video for you real soon. You know I love you to life always, and until then, gone.